It's time to call the meeting to order. I would like to welcome all the audience that came out to listen today, and also note that all board members are present, and along with our county administrator, Larry Barton, and our county attorney, Will Sturgill, and our IDA economic developer, Dana Klunga. And the first thing on the agenda is prayer. And Mr. Martin, do you want to lead or you want me to?
Sure, I'll be glad to.
Okay, thank you.
Let us pray. Most kind and gracious Heavenly Father, Lord, we so humbly come before you once again this evening, Lord. Lord, we just ask a special prayer, Lord, upon our meeting tonight, Lord. We just pray for wisdom for our board members and the decisions that they make, Lord. Lord, be with our county, be with our citizens, Lord. We just pray that you be with all those that are sick and afflicted, Lord. Lord, watch over us with all these things, we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Mr. Martin. And the pledge, I'm going to let you do it. I forget who I asked.
Well, that's okay.
You was absent, so I'll go with you today.
Okay. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay. The next thing on our agenda is to approve the minutes, and we've got several on here to approve. Do you want to take them all at one time? It's the budget workshop for April 9th, special call meeting April 9th, budget workshop April 17th, public hearing April the 23rd, and our regular board meeting April 23rd, and our budget workshop May the 7th. And if y'all had a chance to read them, is there any corrections or anything? I read them, I didn't see anything wrong.
I make a motion that we approve all of our minutes listed on our agenda.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on them? If not, if there's no discussion, I'll ask for a roll call vote. Ms. Celeste?
Yeah.
Mr. Thacker?
Aye.
And Ms. Kaiser?
Aye.
And Mr. Hall?
Aye.
And I also. The next thing on the agenda is to approve the agenda, and we have one addition. It's the contract that we bid out with for the Chip Mill Road, and it is the rehab center, correct?
Correct, yes, ma'am.
And we need to add it to, it would be 8A, wouldn't it? There.
It'd be under other business, and of course, we're deleting item 2.
Okay, I don't have item 2 on mine, but I guess they do. I run off the
Run out
new
the
one.
new one, so.
Okay, so we will delete number 2, and it had to do with
Remote attendance.
remote attendance. And we don't, everybody's here tonight, so we'll delete that. And we need to add that to 8A?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And under other business, correct?
Correct.
I make a motion that we approve the agenda with the deletion of number 2, which was concerning remote attendance of a member, and adding 8A contract.
I'll second.
And we have a motion and a second. I probably need to turn my phone off and I forgot it. I have a motion and a second that we approve the agenda. Mr. Hall, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Kaiser?
Aye.
And Mr. Thacker?
Aye.
And Ms. Celeste?
Aye.
And I also. Okay, the next thing on the agenda is our consent agenda, and I guess everybody's had a chance to look at those, and, I left my phone in the car, I don't think I did. I'm afraid it'll ring. But anyway, we need a motion to approve those, or if you have a question about them, we'll go over those.
I'll make a motion to approve them. I went over them, they look very good. A lot of trash pickup.
Yes,
I appreciate
and
it.
also a lot of fires. They've had a lot of fires and a lot of rescue calls too. So it's been a busy month for all of our animal control. Everything was busy, I noticed. Did we have a second on that?
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second that we approve the consent agenda.
I also noticed, if we're open for comments,
We are.
Madam Chairman, there were 3 calls for an overdose, 2 calls for attempted suicide.
And then there's another overdose.
That is by Clintwood Rescue Squad, and 1 through Behavioral Health, and an overdose through the Hayside Rescue Squad. And that's always sad to see.
It
that-
is.
That we've had 4 overdoses and 2 attempted suicides, which is sad for the county.
Can't wait to get our rehab program up and going. Can you,
Right.
Miss Cronkite?
I cannot wait, that is for sure.
Can't wait. It is very needed in this area. Okay, if there's no more comments on the consent agenda, I have a motion and a second to approve them. Ms. Sluss, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Thacker?
Aye.
And Ms. Kaiser?
Aye.
And Mr. Hall?
Aye.
And I also. Now, we're down to public comment. And the public can call in also that's listening, 276-333-0357. And we will get Mr. Sturgill to give the rules and be our timekeeper.
All right, thank you. Upon recognition by the chairman, the speaker shall address himself to the chairman, and if at the conclusion of his remarks, any member of the Board of Supervisors desires further information, the member will address the speaker with permission of the chairman. There shall be a limit of time for each individual speaker of 3 minutes. A representative or group may have up to 5 minutes to make a presentation. Speakers are not permitted to donate time to other speakers. No speaker's time shall be extended except by unanimous consent or 2/3 vote of the board members present. Prohibited conduct. Persons appearing before the board will not be allowed to campaign for public office, promote private business ventures, use profanity or vulgar language or gestures, use language which insults or demeans any person, make frivolous statements, interrupt other speakers, or engage in behavior that disrupts the meeting, engage in behavior that intimidates others, address the board on issues that do not concern the services, policies, or affairs of the county.
Does anyone wish to make a public comment at this time? No one? No phone calls?
No, ma'am.
Adam? Okay, we'll hold it open just a second to see if anyone wants to call in at 276-333-0357. I think I can go ahead and close it if I have any public comment. Okay. Seeing that there is no public comment this afternoon, we'll go ahead and close public comment at this time. Our next item on the agenda is Matt Boyd from Cumberland Plateau. Are you, Matt?
Hi.
Anyway, unfortunately, I could not get a quorum together for this hearing. As far as I'm aware, no one from the PSA is here to actually talk about, but what I had to just put to the board was just a resolution and an applicant disclosure report for the Clinch Coast Sewer Line Extension Project Phase 2.
I know we discussed it at our meeting at PSA.
Yes.
And it's, I knew we had to have a referendum or an approval from this board. You have to have a letter, correct?
Yeah, the letter was just as a backup, just in case I couldn't get the meeting, minutes from this
Okay.
meeting together. I
Okay.
just prepared that just as a backup, just in case, that way I can go on and put the application forward.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
And I know we have to have two letters of support, from
Alrighty.
us and the PSA, correct?
This is actually ones that I need to get signed here tonight was the only two that I needed to finish up the application. Everything else is already on our website.
Okay.
Can I ask you, where are you extending the sewer line?
So the sewer line, I know the name of the project is,
Is it that Nora sewer?
No, this one extends, and I'm trying to actually figure out the best way to say it. It's from the bridge over in Hayside, goes all the way up through town and up to the sewage treatment plant.
Oh, yeah.
And that line specifically that they're going to be replacing serves the Clinchco area. We did the Phase 1 project in 2016. It wrapped up about 2019. And this is just the continuation of that. We need to have this project in order to essentially make sure that the line that they have currently continues to function as normal.
Yeah, we've already got the funding and everything for it. We
Yes,
just need
we
to-
already
Are
have
you replacing the
VCRL.
line? Is that what you're doing?
Yes, it is a sewer line replacement project.
Okay, I didn't know.
And it's very needed.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, man. See you Thursday. So, will we need a motion to approve this?
I
We
think
don't.
we can without the hearing, so, because it's basically affirming that we'd had a hearing and
But we can sign this thing tonight or not? We
I
can't.
think we can we will. on
Yeah,
that.
well, it says pursuant to 2 public hearings in the resolution, and I don't think we've.
We'll try to
The
coordinate
other
with them.
hearing, Matt, am I correct? The other hearing is for PSA, correct?
Yes, the other hearing was with PSA.
Yes. And this is all we have to do tonight, right?
Yes.
And, Madam Chair, what we run into on this was like a kind of a glitch in the advertisement. It was advertised as a public hearing of the PSA, not a public hearing of the Board of Supervisors.
Oh, okay.
And so Mr. Phillips tried to get 3 members of the PSA to be here tonight. It was kind of a last minute thing on this. And I know Mr. Harless was on standby, and then Ron had messaged me back just right when the meeting started and said he couldn't get a quorum with the others. So we'll have to probably reschedule this.
Okay, so we have to
let it go.
reschedule it, Matt. Okay. So do we want to reschedule that when we have our budget workshop?
I don't know, as far as advertising on that, what would we have to do, Will, if we'd have sufficient time for a public hearing?
I think you'd have to do at least a week.
I think on a public
week?
hearing. you would,
Okay.
So
Correct.
maybe we'll look at next week or.
When is our public hearing on the budget? Could it be
Friday.
It will be,
No, a
we'll have a
public hearing.
workshop on Friday, and then it will advertise on the 5th and 12th.
Oh, so we're
With
still,
the hearing
a couple
on
weeks
the
out.
18th.
okay.
Yeah, I think we've
and the
got
vote on
it
the
scheduled.
25th, so.
And if this was for an ordinance, it'd be 2 weeks, but it looks like it's just a
The hearing.
resolution, so.
Right.
So I think we could probably do it with 7 days' notice.
If the board would want to schedule the time for that, next Tuesday or later, we could do that, public hearing.
Is there a timeline for them to get all this submitted?
Mr. Boyd, is there a timeline you have on this to get this in?
It needs to be done for the 12th.
For the 12th? So ideally, we probably do need to
Have that next
try to do
Tuesday.
something next week if we could on that. But we may have to go after Tuesday. Well, can't get it in the paper, but we can advertise on the website and post it everywhere else we do.
When are we supposed to be going with VACO to Scott County?
The 11th.
Okay.
It's the 11th,
Yeah.
and I have,
I'm sorry, what's the 11th?
The 11th is
The
at
VACO
Scott
regional
County
meeting, definitely.
VACO regional meeting.
Yeah, the regional meeting with VACO in Scott
3 to
County
5.
on the 11th.
And who goes to that?
Everyone's invited.
All of us are
I,
invited.
I did mine today. Yep.
Oh, I haven't
You
registered
did what
yet.
today, Shelby?
Registered.
You have to register. You get an email on it.
We sent that out. I'll forward it to you again, Miss Celeste, that way you'll
Okay,
have that. So,
I appreciate that.
I would think the 4th is, so that gives them a week to get their paperwork done. We about, if everybody can, we about need to come back next
I think so,
Tuesday
next
for that.
Tuesday.
If we can get the advertisements in for it,
I think we can, so
5 o'clock,
5 o'clock. That works
5
the
o'clock
board.
for a public hearing
When?
on this. Next Tuesday, a week
Tuesday
from
before.
today.
That's the 4th.
That's the 4th.
Yeah,
And we have that budget to the public that day also, don't we? That's what I've got on here.
I do too, but
No,
I
those
don't
are
think we're
original- That's our
having,
original budget schedule. That's what we were on, and we've got delayed on that, so we're gonna have to do on the 18th on that now.
Yeah.
Okay, delete that. And we're the 18th
Mhm.
for public hearing on the budget.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And what, does that start at what time?
5 o'clock.
so that says right now we're looking at every Tuesday in June being here. Okay.
Matt, we'll get that to you just as soon as we can, okay?
All right. And you did say that was gonna be on June the 4th?
Yes, sir. June 4th
June
at
the
5
4th.
o'clock.
In that case, I can go on and get that prepped and get the new advertisement sent out as soon as I get home.
Okay.
Sounds great.
All right,
Thank
thank you.
you.
Okay. That got mad, so we're ready to go on to our appointments, correct?
Correct. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, the next thing on the agenda is we have, new business is our appointments, and we have, our citizens' appointments are up in Cumberland Plateau Planning District. And Dana Cronkite, Richard Mullins, Lester Hill, and Jeff Newberry are our, citizens' appointments.
I have talked with Jeff Newberry, and he wishes to step down.
He does? Mm-hmm. He attends every meeting.
That's what he told me in a text message last night, I think it was. And I would like to submit the name of Matthew Dingus for a citizen appointment on that. But I don't have no problem if the other 3 wants to still serve.
Dana, do you want to come off of that, as you already have contact with them through the month? Do you want to come off or do you want to stay on?
It's up to the pleasure of the board. If you'd like me to stay on, I have no problem doing that, but completely understand that I do have other contacts with them.
Yeah, you do. And you're welcome to come to all the meetings,
Right.
you know that. Do we have anybody else? Because I think we was gonna put her on something else tonight, wasn't we?
You have to have 4, is that,
Yeah, we have to have 4 citizens appointments.
I just saw Jeff. He mentioned it to me, but I know he didn't
Do you
want.
have anybody that you had in mind for that? Well, we can leave Dana on it if she wants to stay on. It's just up to you, Dana.
It's totally fine with me to stay on. If
So, did you talk to Matthew? And he is willing to serve? Okay. You tell me it's just once a quarter?
Yep.
Okay. So, we have, Jeff wants to come off. I think Jeff's having some knee issues. And, I have a motion to appoint Matthew Dingus. Is there any other appointments? Or any other nominations?
You need a second on that?
No, we don't need a second on it. Am I correct?
That's correct.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we have no other ones to vote on, but I'll bring Matthew Dingus up to be added as a citizen's appointment. And how do you vote, Ms. Sluss?
Aye.
How do you vote, Mr. Thacker?
Aye.
And Ms. Kaiser?
Aye.
And Mr. Hall?
Aye.
And I also. And leave Dana on there, correct? Is that the pleasure of the board to leave Dana?
Unless somebody else has got a nomination for, no, I don't.
Okay, so that takes care of that one.
Do we have to still vote on those three to remain?
Yes.
Oh, we did, okay. So make a motion for the other three.
Okay, then I make a motion that we leave Richard Mullins, Lester Hill, and Dana Cronkite as a citizen appointment.
I'll second it.
Okay, have a motion and a second to leave Richard Mullins, Lester Hill, and Dana Cronkite on his citizen's appointment. Is there any discussion? If none, how do you vote, Ms. Sluss?
Yeah, aye.
And Mr. Thacker?
Aye.
And Ms. Kaiser?
Aye.
And Mr. Hall? And I also. They're all good appointments and they all attend.
Yeah.
Even Jeff has always attended. And I hate to lose Jeff. He's enjoyed the board.
And the citizen appointments are for 1 year, so
Yeah.
they come back up next.
Yeah, they're only for 1 year
Yeah.
appointments.
Yeah.
But we've got some good members on there.
Yeah.
Okay, our next appointments is the Industrial Development Authority. And we have Mr. Larry Yates up for appointments. And we have Jennifer Mullins up, and we have Ben McFalls up. So I need a nomination for Larry Yates or a replacement for Larry Yates.
That's a Sand Lake appointment, isn't it?
Is
It's
it?
a district
It
appointment. It would be a
is,
district
okay, I didn't
appointment.
know. Which one's at large?
Mr. McFall, Ben McFall.
Yeah.
is at
Okay,
large.
I knew one of them was at large. Okay, Richard, it's your appointment, so you have to make it.
I'll make a motion to leave Larry on the IDA board. He's the chairman of the board.
Okay, I have a motion to leave Larry Yates on as the appointment for the Sand Lake District. Do I have a second? I will second that motion to leave Larry.
You know,
Oh, yeah, don't have to have seconds on the
Oh, okay, I'm
nomination.
sorry.
you can have it, but it's not required.
Okay. Is there any other nominations for Larry Yates' appointment? If none, how do you vote, Ms. Kite? We don't have to have a second, but I did. But, how do you vote, Ms. Sluss?
Aye.
And Mr. Thacker?
Aye.
And Ms. Kaiser?
Aye.
And Mr. Hall?
Aye.
And I also. Our next appointment that's up is Jennifer Mullins, and I assume it's
Willis.
Willis District.
Yeah, I make a motion, we leave Jennifer Mullins on as the IDA. board.
Is there any other nominations to replace Jennifer Mullins? Hearing none, how do you vote, Mr. Hall? And Ms. Kaiser?
Aye.
And Mr. Thacker?
Aye.
And Ms.
Aye.
Sluss? And I also. Now we're down to the at-large appointment, and it is Ben McFalls. Do I hear any nominations for that appointment?
Make a motion, we keep Ben McFall on the board.
Any other nominations? Hearing no other nominations, how do you vote, Ms. Celeste?
Aye.
And Mr. Thacker?
Aye.
And Ms. Kaiser?
Aye.
And Mr. Hall?
Aye.
And I also, so. That leaves Larry Yates, Jennifer Mullins, and Ben McFall being reappointed to the Board of Industrial Development. The next appointment that is up is Southwest Virginia Community Corrections Incorporated. And Gary Hall serves on that board, and I talked to Gary today, and he would like to step down due to his health. He says he has enjoyed the board, but he would like to step down. Do I have any nominations for Gary Hall's position?
I'd like to nominate Scotty Owens.
Scotty Owens. Any other nominations? Hearing none, how do you vote, Mr. Hall?
Aye.
Ms. Kaiser?
Aye.
Mr. Thacker?
Aye.
And Ms. Sluss?
Aye.
And I also, I think Scotty will be a good appointment for that. Our next one, I'll turn my page here. Our next one on the agenda is for the Virginia Coalfield Economic Development VCTA Board. And Rhonda Sluss is our appointment on that. Do I hear a nomination?
I'd like to make a nomination that she remain on that board.
Have a nomination for Rhonda. Any other nominations?
I'd like to nominate myself to be on that.
I would like to nominate Chris for that also. Because I think Chris is interested in it, and I think he would attend and be there. And that's what we need on that board. It's a very important board. So I will have to take the first, which is Rhonda's, any other nominations? I'll ask that before we go on. Hearing no other nominations, I take Rhonda first. How do you vote, Ms. Sluss?
I vote for myself. I've enjoyed being on that board, and it is an important board, and I think I've been very vocal in supporting Dickinson County.
The only problem I have with it, you haven't attended a lot of the meetings.
I
That's-
missed maybe 2 in 4 years.
No, I've got a copy of it and you haven't. You've missed much more than that.
How many?
I don't know, I have to go back and hand on my email,
I
but
don't
it's
think
quite a
so.
few.
I don't think
And,
so. I was very instrumental in getting the splash pad, but didn't take very much credit for it. I think that it's a board that, it is an important board, but I would like to stay on that board. I think I can do a good job.
Mr. Thacker, how do you vote?
I vote no.
Mrs. Kaiser, how do you vote?
Aye.
I vote no. Mr. Hall, how do you
No.
vote? So now, have Chris Hall as an appointee for the Coalfield Economic Development Authority, which is VCTA. How do you vote, Ms. Sluss?
Well, I'll have to vote no. I'm not against Chris.
Okay, Mr. Thacker, how do you vote?
Aye.
And Ms. Kaiser?
No.
And Mr. Hall?
Aye.
And I also. So Chris has got the nomination for that, correct? 3-2.
You have to remember during that time, I had a sick husband for 21 months.
Yeah, I know that, but
Well,
I think Chris will do a good job
I
on it.
hope he does. I'll support him.
Yeah. The next one on the agenda is Bristol Transportation District Regional Improvement Commission. And we have Larry Barton on that, and I think they recommend that our county administrator serve on that. So I would need a nomination for that appointment.
I make a nomination to Larry Barton, stay on that board.
Any other nominations? Hearing none, how do you vote, Mr. Hall?
Aye.
Ms. Kaiser?
Aye.
And Mr. Thacker?
Aye.
And Ms. Sluss?
Aye.
And I also. So, Mr. Barton, you will stay on that. Our next one is Keeping Southwest Virginia Beautiful, and we have Bo Dotson on that as litter control. And that, they recommend litter control be on that, don't they?
I think so. That's who we've always had in the past. We'd had Lester and then Eugene, I think,
Yeah.
serving that capacity, so.
And then
kinda
Bo.
reading the description
Does
here.
Bo attend the meetings?
I honestly don't know. I don't know how many meetings they've had or anything.
I don't know
so-
either. I don't know how often they meet or whatever. Do I hear any nominations for Keeping Southwest Virginia Beautiful?
I think I will nominate Bo Dotson.
Any other nominations? Hearing none, I will ask, how do you vote, Mr. Hall? Ms. Kaiser? And Mr. Thacker? And Ms. Sless? And Derek Dotson will be reappointed to the Southwest Virginia Beautification Board. So the next one on the agenda that we have to appoint is Southwest Regional Recreation Authority, Sarah Board of Directors.
I'll nominate Lester Hill.
Lester doesn't want it.
He don't want it?
No, I asked him, he doesn't want it. That's the one I would like to put Dana on, I would like to nominate Dana to serve on that, because I've talked to several people, and this is, Mike Gates' appointment that he resigned from.
Yes, ma'am.
And I have talked to 2 different people, and they're not interested on serving, so, I think Dana would do good in promoting our trails and also our
Shooting complex, Dixon Shooting.
Dickinson shooting range up there. And that's where we need a lot of support up there, because they're using that, and it needs to be promoted even more.
Needs to be promoted, and they got a $5 million grant, and Dickinson County gets very little of that money. Somebody needs to be asking why.
So, we have a nomination for Dana on that board. Do we have any other nominations? And I did talk to Lester, and he told me he wasn't interested in it.
Okay.
Want it? I asked Dana, did she want it?
Yeah, it's kinda in
You want to
tourism.
keep
Yeah.
shooting, Dana?
IDA directors on this board?
Economic Development Director, I know Buchanan
You
and
bet, I would ask
Lee,
for the
of
money.
course, Lee is between directors, that's who they had now. Is that correct, Ms. Cronkite?
I'm not sure
Buchanan
about
and Lee.
Buchanan County, but Lee County definitely, and some of the other counties are looking at it as well, as my understanding.
They're looking at it as their economic development person be on it.
Yes, and to have more involvement from the economic developers, yes.
Okay. Do you have any other nominations besides Dana Cronkite? Any discussion on it? If not, how do you vote, Mr. Hall, to put Dana Cronkite on it? Ms. Kaiser? And Mr. Thacker?
Aye.
And Ms. Celeste?
Uh-huh.
And I also. Okay. Now that got rid of our appointments, correct? That was a lot of them. The next thing on the agenda is a resolution for Old Dominion Power Company, and this is the same resolution that we adopted for AEP about increasing the rates. I have about 100 customers in Dickinson that's on Old Dominion Power, and we're doing the same resolution, and I'm sure y'all have had the chance to read it. And we need to make a motion to adopt this resolution also with Old Dominion about raising power rates.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, I have a motion that we adopt the Old Dominion power resolution about raising taxes. I'm not gonna read it because I assume we read it.
I'll second it.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on it? Hearing none, how do you vote, Ms. Kaiser?
Aye.
And Mr. Hall? And Mr. Thacker?
Aye.
And Ms. Celeste?
Aye.
And I also. And the next thing on the agenda is our real estate due tax, and I will read that one. A resolution to extend the due date for the first half of 2024 real estate taxes from June the 5th to June the 21st of 24. Whereas under the Code of Virginia, Section 58.1-3916, a governing body is the authority to grant reasonable extension of time not to exceed 90 days for the payment of our local taxes whenever good cause exists. And whereas Dickinson County has been undergoing a general reassessment of real estate this year pursuant to the requirements of the Code of Virginia, and this has caused a delay in providing real estate tax due notices. And whereas Dickinson County Board of Supervisors, in order that it may provide to the real estate owners and the citizens of Dickinson County ample time and notice to pay the first installment of taxes due pursuant to the twice-a-year collection, has decided to grant and extend the tax due date previously scheduled for the first installment date due on June the 5th only. And whereas Dickinson County Board of Supervisors find that good cause exists for extending of the time of payment of the last high for the real estate taxes, first time of real estate taxes for 2024, and determined that the due date should be extended to June the 21st, 2024. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Supervisors of Dickinson County as follows: that the due date for payment for the first installment of real estate taxes for the calendar year 2024 is hereby extended from June the 5th to June the 21st, 2024. Said extension represents a one-time amendment for the current year only. Penalty and interest shall apply to any real estate due and not paid on June the 21st of 24. That the resolution shall have no legal impact upon prior delinquencies. That this resolution shall be in effect upon adoption. So this is extending the payment due to our late getting the notices out, and we're extending it to June the 21st without penalty and interest being added until after June the 21st. Do I have a motion to adopt this resolution?
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion to adopt the resolution. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
A motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on this? Does anyone want to make a comment on this? Okay, hearing none. How do you vote, Ms. Celeste?
Aye.
How do you vote, Mr. Thacker?
Aye.
And Ms. Kaiser?
Aye.
And Mr. Hall?
Aye.
And I also. So your due date on your first half of your real estate will not be due until June the 21st. Okay, now we need an engagement letter, and this is our contract that we have with our auditors. We do this every year. We have Robinson, Farmer, Cox, and Associates that does the audit for the county, and this is something we do every year to extend their audit. And I would need a motion to adopt the letter, engagement letter for our auditors. It's a mutual aid agreement.
I'll make
No,
that
that's
mo-
not. Okay, I'm sorry. That's just the engagement letter
Engagement
for that,
letter.
yes. Oh, okay.
Make a motion.
Okay, I have a motion to accept the letter, engagement letter to Robinson, Farmer, Cox, and Associates.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. How do you vote, Ms. Celeste?
Aye.
Mr. Thacker?
Aye.
And Ms. Kaiser?
Aye.
And Mr. Hall?
Aye.
And I also. Now, we're down to the mutual agreement aid. And this is a law enforcement service that Dickinson and Russell have together to work together as agencies. I'm not gonna read all of that because it's about 4 pages. But it's a mutual agreement between Russell and Dickinson.
Yes, ma'am. It's providing assistance in the event of emergency, disaster, or other need between the two counties, so.
Okay.
Didn't we do this
We
a
have done it
couple of years
before.
ago? Yeah.
It's just renewing it, I guess, because we've had it before.
We have had it.
But it's up, and so we have to do it again. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
And have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on the law enforcement services? Hearing none, how do you vote, Ms. Celeste?
Aye.
Mr. Thacker?
Aye.
Mr. Hall?
Aye.
And Ms. Kaiser?
Aye.
And I also. Now, come down to naming, changing a road name in the E911 category. I'll read this one. This is in my district, so I guess I'll have to make the motion on this, Mr. Sturgill. Section 15.2.20119 of the Code of Virginia, and a copy is attached, grants local governing bodies the authority to name roads. The new Wildwood Recovery Center will be located on the Red Onion Prison Road. With the upcoming opening of the facility, we are requesting the Dickinson County Board of Supervisors rename the current road from Red Onion Prison Road to H. Jack Rose Highway, which is the original name, and Wise County continues to use this for their portion of the road. And actually, the address to the prison is the H. Jack Rose address to the prison. So it's my district, and I made one thing, and I said I'd never do it again, is change the name, but this one I think I need to change because I got into a controversy over changing one. So I would like to make a motion to change this back to the H. Jack Rose Highway. That was what it was originally named when the prison was built. Jack is my neighbor. He's deceased, or was my neighbor. And he was very instrumental in getting us the Red Onion Prison, which we have a lot of people in Dickinson County employed up there. So I'm going to make a motion that we change it back to the original name, H. Jack Rose Highway.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to change it back
Mhm.
to H. Jack Rose Highway. Any discussion?
It just sort of sounds bad that a recovery center is located on a prison road.
I know, and that's why I think our E911 named it, but they should have left it because that's the address to the prison is H. Jack Rose. And if there's no other discussion, any other discussion on changing this road name? Hearing none, how do you vote, Mr. Hall?
Aye.
Ms. Kaiser?
Aye.
And Mr. Thacker?
Aye.
And Ms. Celeste?
Aye.
And I also. The next thing on our agenda is this playground equipment. You don't need any for your district because you got to keep the sanity, right?
There's a little bit down there, but if we're gonna divvy it out, I would like to have some of it.
Okay. Do we want to do it tonight or?
I think Sand Lake would be very well served to get this equipment because I went by and looked at it, they didn't have much down there.
I would like to have the swing set for West Dane Community Center. If no one else wants the swing set.
You have pretty good swing sets in Santa.
You should have had almost everything down there left at Sandwich, didn't you?
There wasn't very much to
Wasn't
start
very
with.
much there as I see.
Okay.
Swing set.
Is that at the back of the school and that other section over where the school buses, does both of those places have some playground equipment
Yeah,
down
they
there?
get both of them, don't they?
Where the, you talking about Sandley?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, a lot on the
upper
side.
one, there's just a very little, like a merry-go-round and a shed over there. There's not much equipment at all. There's some swing sets on the lower end next to the river.
There's another plaything up next to the river, isn't there?
Well,
For
this-
little people.
This
That other
playground
place,
ha-
I don't have hardly anything. I thought.
this playground equipment has been in my district for years at the Irvington Elementary School. And I would like to have some of it to share out down at McClure Cornice Field, and everybody says that Trammell Playground is not used that much, and I don't see a whole lot of people up there, but then I'm not up through there every day. But I'd still like to share something with the Trammell Playground, because that playground up there was created by an individual in that town, and the county really, I don't think, has done a whole lot of putting anything in that playground.
Scott Moore started that.
Yeah, him and W.C. Phillips and them.
Yeah,
in the
and they
county.
did put a lot of money into it.
Yeah.
From the board when Scott was here.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
they did.
Well, I've been told that nobody done nothing but W.C. Phillips, so,
Scott Moore put a lot of money into that up there.
Oh, okay.
And put a lot of equipment up there.
oh, okay.
Yeah, he sure did.
So I would like to have something to take there and to McClure, and I wouldn't care to put a picnic table or something. I don't know, down Lick Creek, down there at Counts, there's a tennis court. But if anybody goes or takes kids, there's nowhere for nobody to sit down.
There's
That's,
2 picnic tables.
yeah, and I would like to have something.
Are they in the surplus?
I think, aren't they? All of that is in that surplus of that equipment up there. To put something down there at that Lick Creek site, at that tennis court, to help with entertainment. If there's room, if we can get something in
I
down
would
there.
I think
say,
you need a picnic table up there at, the Trammell.
They got
playground,
picnic
too.
tables under sheds.
I just came by there today and the shed was empty.
When did those get taken out?
I don't know. And they may have been moved, but the shed was empty underneath that shed.
Really,
the
they
concrete
were in
pad.
there. Yeah, we've had meetings down
I'm
there.
We've had meetings and everything down there.
Yeah, I came by there today and there was no picnic table there. Now they may have removed it to refurbish them or something, I don't know, but it's not under the shed right now.
Gosh, I was up through there a couple times last week. I don't remember
Make a
seeing
note
it.
to
Yeah,
follow
make a
them.
note on that.
but I think if Peggy needs those picnic tables, that she should have them.
And if they are gone, we may need to put a couple of them up there and see if we can get one down at Lick Creek at that little tennis court area location.
I would think that they'd be there somewhere, wouldn't you?
Those
And they
picnic,
may be, I just glanced over and seen the shed and noticed there was a picnic table under it and I thought that's kind of
Shed's
strange.
God, that
Because it
thing
had
was
been-
full of picnic tables.
I
Madam
came
Chair,
by
whatever
there
the
Saturday
pleasure
and
of the board
wasn't
is, if y'all
sold
wanna talk
there.
about that tonight and split it out, we can have maintenance, get that on their list and move them, or if y'all wanna talk about it amongst yourselves and might decide later how you
Who
wanna
wants
proceed on
what?
that.
Okay.
Didn't we, Larry, during the ARPA funding, didn't we buy some I've never said, I know we were supposed to put that handicap thing over here.
It's down in the
We've got
warehouse.
them in, we're just waiting until maintenance can get to them. We've reached out to, we've got one for Bear Pen, one for the Clintwood Park there, and one
Yeah.
for Hayside, Kiwanis Park.
Well, I'm just gonna make a statement by Sandlake. I mean, I went there and looked at their playground, and they have a much bigger population than Trammell or the others. I'm not against Trammell or anything, but Sandlake really does need, I mean, during when we had the ARPA funds, they should have put a new playground down there. I mean, they have the population and nothing for the.
We didn't own the property at that time.
Well, that might very well be true, but I just think that, in my opinion, Sand Lake would have a bigger population of children to play at that area. Has that been cut, Richard, that grass?
Yes, it has.
I just think it's just a,
So we wanna,
Shame.
We had to get a tractor to come down there and cut the football field, it was so high.
y'all want to, let's just discuss together what?
You wanna go back and assess what equipment you've got at each place and revisit this
Yeah.
later, or you wanna do it tonight?
Yeah, it needs to go where it's gonna get the most use and benefit for the kids. You know, Bear Pen, I've got quite a bit of room there, and I can put any of this stuff down there. But if we have an area that doesn't have as much, and, you know, we need to accommodate those kids too.
That one down at Burpeen is used a lot
It's used
too,
a lot,
cause, they have a lot of
every day.
picnics down there.
yes. You got the swimming pool beside of it, so you get a lot of traffic on Bear Pen, so, again, I can use any of this stuff at Bear Pen, be glad to have it.
And I can use some at Yates. I need more at Yates. And
But if like Sand Lick, if you're short on equipment for those kids to play on, I want to accommodate those kids also.
It's very limited playground equipment, and
I would assume they would have had as much as they have down here at Irving.
we didn't get any of the playground equipment during the ARPA money that I know of for the Sand Lake District. I'd
Didn't
like to
own
get a-
anything over there to put it on. Because we didn't own the school when we had the ARCA funds.
That playground, is it off the school ground, Richard? I believe it is, isn't it?
They're both
No,
on
it's
school
all part of the
grounds.
school property, and it'll
Is
be
it
coming
part
to
of
us
school
once
property?
everything's complete.
It's just coming, it's coming to us.
Yeah, I mean,
So I would suggest that we just get together and decide who gets what. Is that okay?
Uh-huh.
Between the four of us, cause Rhonda probably don't need it. She's got the playground in town. And they keep it up real good. And you got the handicap thing that goes down there. So I think the four of us, what do you think?
If you want to talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah,
as long as,
and we
you know,
will,
don't want
and
to be
decide. We won't
talking
fuss over it.
so.
No.
Okay, then let's go on to other business. And the other business is A on 8, and this is on your little add-on today. It's the contract that we bid out to McFalls Excavating. Larry, do you want to explain it?
I'll be glad to. This is
All right, thank
for,
you.
we actually went out to bid on this, and we had two qualified respondents today, and McFall was the low bidder on this. And the board actually did award to them, but this is the actual contract that'll need to be approved.
So we already awarded the
You've already
bid to
awarded
them,
the-
and
yeah,
this
it's just a
contract
matter-
needs to be,
It'll require your signatures, and it'll just have to be, and it's just a standard contract form that we use. That'll be just
okay.
partial payments, through
And it's for the
completion.
rehab program up
It
there.
is for paving of the current chip mill road, past the facility, and then,
Yeah,
yes.
okay.
when do they hope to start on that?
The paving? Very
Now,
soon.
yeah.
Very soon, because they've been working getting all the houses, sewer and water into those. haven't
Right.
I saw your picture on, you had a picture on Facebook.
Yeah,
didn't you?
yeah.
Cause when I went up there and ran around, it was pretty rough, but I guess they've done a lot of work since then.
It's still a little rough, but we'll get there.
Do I have a motion to approve this contract with McFalls Excavating?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion on it? If no discussion on it, how do you vote, Mrs. Celeste? Mr. Thacker?
Aye.
And Ms. Kaiser? And Mr. Hall?
Aye.
And I also. Next thing on the agenda is to schedule a public hearing for a proposed 6-year plan for fiscal year 2025, 2026 through 2029 to 2030. And we need to have that June the 25th at our next board meeting at 5:45 p.m. Do I have a motion to have a public hearing on the 6-year road plan?
Make that motion.
They have a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the public hearing on the fiscal year proposed secondary and 6-year road plan. Any discussion? If none, how do you vote? Mr. Hall?
Aye.
Ms. Kaiser? Mr. Thacker?
Aye.
And Ms. Celeste?
Aye.
And I also. And the next thing on the agenda is have a public hearing concerning the Board of Supervisors salary ordinance. And we'll schedule that one for June the 25th of 2024 at 5:55 p.m. Do I have a motion to that effect?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second to set a public hearing on the Board of Supervisors salary ordinance, June the 25th, 2024 at 5:55 p.m. How do you vote, Ms. Celeste?
Aye.
Is there any discussion on it? I forgot. If none, Mr. Thacker, how do you vote?
Aye.
And Mrs. Kaiser?
Aye.
And Mr. Hall?
Aye.
And I also. This is something we do every year, and I've been here 16 and a half years, and it hasn't raised.
Yeah.
I'm still making the same thing I made in 2008. Huh?
Some change.
We didn't change it. We have the ordinance every year, but we haven't changed it in 16 and a half years that I've been here. We're still making the same thing we made 16 years ago.
Definitely not doing it for the money.
No, it's true. My phone's running all day long. The next thing we do is go into closed session, and I need a motion to go into closed session.
I'll make a motion that we go into closed session, section 2.2-3711A8, 1, consultation with legal counsel.
Do I have a second?
I second.
I'll have a motion and a second that we go into closed session for legal consultation. How do you vote, Ms. Les?
Aye.
Mr. Thacker?
Aye.
And Ms. Kaiser? And Mr. Hall? And I also. The motion that we come out of closed session.
I'd like to make a motion that whereas the Dickinson County Board of Supervisors has convened a closed meeting on this date pursuant to an affirmative recorded vote and in accordance with the provisions of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, and whereas 2.2-3712 of the Code of Virginia requires a certification by the Dickinson County Board of Supervisors that a closed meeting was conducted in conformity with Virginia law. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Dickinson County Board of Supervisors hereby certify that, to the best of each member's knowledge, only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements by Virginia law were discussed in closed meeting to which this certification resolution applies, and only such public business matters as identified in the motion convening the closed meeting were heard, discussed, and considered by the Dickinson County Board of Supervisors.
Okay,
And I make that motion.
and I need a second to that if anyone wants to second her motion that to certify closed session.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second that we approve the certification that Ms. Kaiser read. How do you vote, Mr. Hall?
Aye.
How do you vote, Ms. Kaiser?
Aye.
And Mr. Thacker?
Aye.
And Ms. Sluss?
Aye.
And I also. And we have no matters discussed in closed session to bring up, so we just went in for consultation. So the next thing on the agenda is supervisors' comments. Ms. Sluss, you want to start?
I just wish everybody have a happy summer and be safe and be careful and have a happy summer.
Mr. Thacker?
I'd just like to say, I'm glad we had a nice turnout at the Breaks Park for the opening of the pool and the playground there. They was at capacity and had to stop allowing people to enter, so it was a
3:30.
very successful,
Yeah.
very successful opening day. That's all I have.
Ms. Kaiser?
I'd just like to say that all of the graduates of, I started to say Irvington High School. That's been a long time ago. Ridgeview High School has a wonderful summer, proceeds to what endeavors that they desire for their life, to start their adult life. I wish them all the best in that. I have a grandson that graduated. We were so glad to see a signed diploma. Bless his heart, he had just lost the desire to go to school, but he's a good kid. I mean, he didn't give us any trouble or anything. He just lost desire to go to school. So I just thank the Lord for him and my other ones that are be coming up. I think we got about 7 years before we have another graduation.
Wow.
So everybody have a good summer. Thank everybody who has come out, everybody who has watched us online, and hope y'all are being pleased with the work that we're trying to do. Okay.
Mr. Hall?
I'd just like to say our Southwest Virginia Economic Forum was great. Dickinson County got mentioned more than any other county there. We had good representation, so we're making strides as far as our development and recognition in the state of Virginia.
And I'll add to yours, our economic developer and them did a wonderful presentation of our rehab program at that. They just done wonderful, not a bit nervous. And I like to say too, that we were recognized as being, Southwest Virginia is the most economical place that you can live. So I would like for everybody to know that in the state of Virginia, Southwest Virginia was it in the state that we were the most economical place to live is in Southwest Virginia. And I thought I was proud of that. And anyway, I would like for everybody to have a safe summer, and I missed kindergarten graduation tonight. I had a great-grandson and a granddaughter graduate from Ridgeview Elementary tonight.
Oh, goodness.
And I think I have 7 grandchildren and great-grandchildren at all the schools at Ridgeview, so Ridgeview will be in my bucket for a long time.
There we go.
But anyway, I'm thankful for the schools that we have up there also. They're beautiful, and the children love going to Ridgeview. And next year, Clintwood gets to go with them, so. I think that we've had a good meeting and good productive meeting tonight. And I'll ask you, when do you think the pool will be open? Because I know that somebody's supposed to
I
know
met with
that.
Ms. Kaiser today, and she's in the process of trying to get everybody hired, and the problem we have right now, we only have 2 lifeguards that's coming back from last year that has a certification. It's 2 years at a time. We have 2, and they're trying to get the certification scheduled to get them scheduled. So we were hoping we'd have enough to get open by this weekend, enough certified lifeguards, but as of now, there's only 2. She's got some more kids coming by tomorrow to talk to, so maybe we may get some more, but if we can get enough certified lifeguards that's already certified, then by the weekend, if not, it'll probably still be another week. So but as soon as we
Another
can
week,
get certified
okay.
lifeguards, we will, so.
As soon as we get lifeguards, okay. All right. Anybody interested in being a lifeguard, go to the swimming pool and put in your application. But if there's no other comments or no other thing, I need a motion that we adjourn.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll say.
I have a motion and a second that we adjourn. All in favor? Vote the usual way of voting. Aye. Anybody opposed? So we're officially adjourned.